Hi, myself Deepak Yadav. So today I'm going to start the podcast on Indian history through the NCERT point of view from class 6th to 12th. So basically this podcast help us to revise the complete Indian history from beginning to final stage. So without wasting our time, let's start. So the first point is what is history? So history is a kind of things that already happened. This term has been used by the layman. So it's just a record and the compilation of the interaction between the factor of change and the changes incurred upon the human beings. So now at the present time is based on the artificial intelligence. Without doing too much efforts, we can get so many things. Anything that which is change the pattern of the interaction between the human being and the another factors like social culture, economical and the political factor related to the human life, then that is interaction take place, which are compiled the entire record that is called as the history of the society and the human beings. So after understanding the term history, we should also need to understand the what is the meaning of Akhand Bharata, right? So at a present map of our India, we can't able to understand our history completely. So we should need to consider the Akhand Bharata term. So what is Akhand Bharat? Akhand Bharat is an area where the India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, the whole countries combine with each other. Then that lead to the formation of Akhand Bharata. It's mean the whole entire subcontinent pertaining the range of Himalayas in north and Hindu Kush, Suleiman and Kirthar in northwest, Tibetan plateaus and Tibetan hills in northeast. It's all about the Akhand Bharata. So in our Sanskrit term, the Akhand Bharat is also known as the Vrihattar Bharat, and in English language we can say that the Akhand Bharat is a greater India. So, what does it mean to be that Akhand Bharata is really a very important term to understand the history of our India? Like in Southeast Asia, that provide a great information related to the Indian architecture, Hinduism, and the Buddhisms. Here we have some places like Angkor Wat, Borobudur, Bali in Indonesia that have a great impact of Hinduism culture, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and southern Myanmar as well. All the areas that provide a great remnants of the ancient Indian knowledge. So after knowing the term of Akhand Bharata, we should also know about the how to start the history, like the sources of the history and how to get the information of the history. There are so many way to get the information of the history, like the archaeological sources and the written sources, verbal sources, and the sources that yet not to be unearthed, that not to be earthed, like the sources yet to be unearthed, and the another source is the numismatic sources. So what does it mean by archaeological sources? The archaeological sources means the excavated sources related to the common life, royalties, animal remains buried under the grounds or other grounds in the natural forms like animal fossils, poetry, toys, and the wheels. They all are the material sources. So we can say that all the material sources belongs to the archaeological sources. Rock painting is also comes under in the category of the archaeological sources. After knowing the information about the archaeological sources, we should really need to jump about the written sources. So written sources belongs to the inscription sources, right? Like paleographic, where the old writing type, that is paleographs, like they are written on the stone, and the Adic, that is the royal writing that the ruler uh, inscripted our thoughts in a form of the stone, right? And another sources is inscription. Inscriptions can be written on the stone, metal, and the wooden surfaces. And the another written sources is the manuscripts, the written down on the soft surfaces like leaf and the trees, etc. So we should know that the manuscript has to be write on a soft surfaces, whereas the edit has to be written on a hard surface, basically on the stones. Another sources of the history is the verbal sources. The verbal sources means we can get the story of our local rulers like Alauddin's, Chandragupta, and Vikram Betal. You know the story of the Vikram Betal. From that Vikram Betal story, we can understand the concept like the Betal Bhatt is the court member of the kingdom of the Vikramaditya first and the Chandragupta second. They both are the same person. So from that story, we can get the information of the Betal Bhatt, and also we can know we should know the term like the story of the Great Flood is the same for the every famous civilization. The another sources of the history is the sources yet to be unearthed, means the history is not static. So we can learn the history from the archaeoastronomy, right? So that term that is yet not to be unearthed, so we can understand, we can learn the things from the archaeoastronomy. The another source of the history is numismatic sources. Numismatic means the coin source, right? Like we can get the information of the ruler from the images on the coins, symbols on the coins, and the metal quality of the coins. Like from the metal quality, we can get the information of the metallurgy kind of things of the of our ancient people. Like the ancient coin term explain the prosperous of the kingdom and the how much proliferating of the kingdom, and the is the kingdom is wealthy kingdom or not. We can understand well-beingness of the human being through the coins. Some new civilization has been unearthed like Singoli civilization in Uttar Pradesh, Vagai civilization in Tamil Nadu, and the Rakhigadi civilization. So after doing the discussion on the sources of the history, we are going to start the discussion on the classification of the historical period. So we are going to classify the historical period on the basis of the two methodology. First one is old methodology, and the second one is the new methodology. So the old methodology is followed by the colonial historians like J.S. Mills, Alexander Cunningham, William Jones, and Vincent Arthur Smith. J.S. Mills categorized the Indian history on the three types. First one is Hindu, second one is Muslim era, and the third one is the British era. Hindu, they are the Hindu era. They are described as the ancient history. Muslim era, they describe as the medieval history, and the British era is described by the modern history. So according to this prediction, that is the very unsatisfactory method to classify the classification of the history, because this classification is based on the religious aspect. Like J.S. Mills categorize Hindu era, Muslim era, and then British era. It's like Hindu and then Muslim, and after that British means the Christian eras, right? So the new methodology is the like a prehistorical period, proto-historical period, and the historical periods. So let's discuss one by one, right? So the first one is prehistorical period, right? The prehistorical period means the Stone Age. Here we don't have any written evidences. After that, we are going to discussion on the proto-historical period. Here in that proto-historical period, the Harappa civilization will be proliferating, right? Here we have the written evidences, but we can't able to decode this written inscriptions or anything. So therefore that prehistorical period and the proto-historical period is totally rely on the archaeological sources. After that the historical period will be started. So that historical period, all the verifiable resources are there, right? So in historical period we are going to further sub classify the things like the historical period classify as a three category. First one is the ancient period, second one is medieval period, and the third one is the modern period. Ancient period means the formative stages of the empire, and the medieval period means the alternatively disintegration and the reintegration due to the feudal systems. And after that, the modern period, that is the mean to us the emergence of nationalism in the and the modern value in societies. So in that historical period, we can see that the most of the empire are the centralized empire, like Mauryan empires and the Roman empires. Here we can see that the most of the empires, emperors have very less interaction with the common peoples. Like they have a very less awareness of the common people about the administration. So we can say that there is almost negligible interaction between the common people and the empires. It's mean a very huge empire was there and a very centralized administration. Now at the modern time, modern age and the modern period, now the age of the decentralization will start and the feudalism will start. Therefore the Rajput kings fight with each other for showing the supremacy of ourselves. So after the discussion on the classification of the historical period, now we are going to start the timeline of the Indian historical period. So the first age is the prehistorical age. Here we don't have any written evidences. So here we can discuss some ages, like in a prehistorical ages, we have Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, Neolithic age, and the Chalcolithic age and Megalithic age. After the prehistorical period, we should learn about that the prohistorical period. Uh, here we have the written evidences, but we can't able to decode the things. So Harappa civilization will be proliferating at the age of the proto-historical period. The Harappa civilization will be proliferating at 3300 BC to 1300 BC. After that, the historical period will be the started. So the Vedic period, from the Vedic period we can start the historical period, right? So Vedic period started from the 1500 BC to 500 BC. After that, the Mahajanpada started from 600 BC to 300 BC. After that, the Mauryan Empire started from 321 BC to 185 BC. And after that, the post Mauryan started from 185 BC to 275 CE. After that, the Gupta Empire will be in the power from 275 CE to 550 CE. After that, the later Gupta started from 500 CE to 750 CE. After that, the tripartites start from 750 CE to 950. After that, the Chola and the Gupta period will started. Chola and Rajput period will started from 915 to 1200 CE. And after that, the Delhi Sultanate started, Vijayanagar and Bamini started, and the Mughal started. And after the Mughal, we learn the history as a modern history. So from a prehistorical period to Gupta or a later Gupta, we learn the history as an ancient history. And after the Gupta period, or including the Gupta period as well, from including the Gupta period as well, to Mughal emperors. That history is known as the medieval history. And after the Mughal, in between the Mughal or after the Mughal, we learn the history as a modern history. So it's all about the way to learn the history, right? So let's start the history from the zero level. So sometimes the question arises that the settlement of the culture, why the settlement of the culture is near the river and the foothills of the mountains? Why? Because the safety was there, because the shelter was there, because there was the food was there. Due to that reasons, the most of the civilization is established or settled near the river and the foothills of the mountains, because most of the things are present there. So from that, the prehistorical period was started. So in prehistorical period, we have the classification on the three ages, like old stone ages, Here we have lower Paleolithic age, mid Paleolithic age, and upper Paleolithic age. After that, the mid Stone Age started, and after that, the new Stone Age was the started. So, what does it mean by old Stone Ages? Old Stone Ages was further classified as lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic, and upper Paleolithic. So, we understand all the things in a synchronized manner, right? So, on the basis of the tools by the early humans, so the tools was undressed and the irregular shape. After the lower Paleolithic age, mid Paleolithic started. Therefore, the tools was partially made by the working tools, and sharpen and the thin tools was started. And after that, the upper Paleolithic started. The tool was become sophisticated. So it's all about the on the basis of the tool, and after that, the basis on the basis of their habits and the survival. In lower Paleolithic, the humans depend on most of the humans were depended on the food gathering and the hunting basis. And after the lower Paleolithic, the mid Paleolithic started. At that time, the humans was hunters and the food gatherers at that time also. So after the mid Paleolithic, the upper Paleolithic age, the humans' habits was predominantly on the basis of the hunting as a predominant work, or hunting is a predominant things for their survival. So after the old Stone Age, we are going to discuss on the transition of the old Stone Age to the mid Stone Age. Means from Paleolithic age to Mesolithic age. So the first key point is Pleistocenes. Pleistocenes is a geographical time period from where we are moving toward the Halocenes. So Pleistocene is the first stage, and after that the Halocene was started. So in between them, the temperature of the Earth system start rising due to the geographical factors. It's mean here the end of the ice age happen around the 11,700 years ago. So from that, the first question is arises. So at which time the agriculture started? So it's around the 11,000 years ago. On which time the animal domestication started? So it's started from the 11,500 years ago. Means the animal domestication was older than the agriculture, right? The initially group activity was started from the 11,000 year ago, at the same time where the agriculture started. So we can say that all the things is happen at the same period because the better geographical factors and the climatic condition. Here the survival start when under the metamorphisms. We are the witness of the collective survivals. Now the Neolithic periods was started. The transition is not very large span of time. So this is why the Neolithic periods have a very least span of time, right? So let's discuss some important Paleolithic sites one by one. The first one is Bhimbetka caves in Madhya Pradesh, and Belan Valley in Madhya Pradesh as well. And the third one is Solan Valley, that is in Haryana, and Sivalik range near the Dehradun, Kurnool near the Andhra Pradesh, and Karim Nagar is in the Andhra Pradesh as well. Bhagor in Rajasthan, Pikli Hall in Karnataka, Adamgarh at Madhya Pradesh, and Sarbhuja at Chhattisgarh. And the next one is Burjahom at Jammu and Kashmir, Chirand at Bihar, Kasi and Goro Hills at Meghalaya. So these are some important sites of the Paleolithic age. After the Paleolithic sites, we are going to start the discussion on the some important Chalcolithic sites. So the first division from the northwestern India is Mehergarh site, that is currently present in Pakistan. Amri is also in Pakistan. Johar in Pakistan. Ravi, it is in between Pakistan and India. and Kot Digi. In at the present time, it is in Pakistan also. So the another Chalcolithic site in central western India is Kayatha culture, Aran culture, and Malwa culture. They all are in Madhya Pradesh. And in Rajasthan, we have Ganeshwar, Ahar, and Banas culture. In Maharashtra, we have Jorve, Daimabad, and Navda Todi. Currently, it is present in between the Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. So we do the discussion on the Chalcolithic side. The first one is from the northwest India, central India. After that, we are doing the some important site, Chalcolithic site near the Gangetic Plains. Here we have OCP culture. OCP means arche color potteries. Here we have some sites like Kosambi, Sarai Nahar, Hastinapur, and Alamgirpur. They all are present near the Gangetic Plains.